Great things about week one of the prep football season is some of those traditional non-conference matchups like Lodi and McFarland, where each program has taken turns being the dominant force over the past 15 years. Tonight, the Blue Devils host the Spartans. Opening drive, Lodi's Garrett Schreiber throws up a duck, and Chase Werwinski is there for the INT, but the Blue Devils will give it right back in the very next play. So, in the ensuing Lodi possession, Zach Kuhn takes the handoff to the far side, goes in for the first score of the season for the Blue Devils at 7-zip Lodi. Still in the first, Lodi once again knocking on the door. This time, it's Mark Nellen, virtually untouched for the easy 6. Lodi up 14, and they rout McFarland 28-0 the final.
This is NBC 15 Sports.
Tomorrow night, great storylines abound, but actually week 2 of the prep football season gets an early start thanks to a trip by Lodi to Wisconsin Dells, where the teams enjoyed center stage attention, followed by a trip to the water park, I'm guessing. The Blue Devils enter as the top team in Division 4, while the Chiefs look to protect their home turf. Lodi in the red zone on the first drive, but the Dells D sacks Garrett Schreiber twice to force a field goal. The Blue Devils started to roll after that, though. Mark Nellen bounces this to the outside, runs through one-arm tackle, and finds the end zone from 21 yards out, makes it 10-zip visitors. Next Lodi drive, 4th and 6 from the 17. Schreiber rolls out, hits fullback Zach Snook, who gets to the edge and dives in for the score. All Blue Devils in this one. They roll 37-0 the final.
Is NBC 15 Sports.
As we get set to kick off week number 6 of the prep football season, 50 teams from across the state have yet to lose this year. 10 are teams from our area, and 2 of those meet up tonight. Speaking of perfect records, our Ryan Wing, who never lost a Tecmo Bowl growing up, joins us live from Lodi for a preview of our Blitz big game. Good evening, Ryan.
Hey, Rob. Actually, I wasn't a Tecmo Bowl kid growing up. Surprise. At least I am. So last week it was a pair of unbeatens in the Capital North that squared off in Columbus and Lakeside Lutheran. Tonight it happens again. Lodi hosts Poinette. I'm joined now by Blue Devils coach Dave Pauls. Coach, thanks for joining me. Your defense has been so great this year. Haven't allowed a point. How have they been so dominant?
A lot of it just goes back to off-season preparation and a lot of senior leadership. We have quite a few kids that have got quite a bit of playing time their sophomore year. Some of them were starters as a sophomore. But that senior leadership and that off-season training, and this group of seniors just having a real goal in mind and really sticking to it throughout the year has been the biggest difference. They're very resilient. They understand the defense. They are unselfish. They take care of their business. We don't have a lot of cowboys that are just trying to get a name for themselves. Some games some guys don't have any tackles. Some games somebody has 10, and that doesn't matter. It's all about what they do as a unit. Your offense scoring north of 30 points a game. What have they done so well? Our offense is just continue to get better every week. We had Zach Keene go down earlier in the year, which he was our #1 running back coming back this year. And Mark Nellen and a few other guys have now stepped in and kind of picked up that slack, and that's been a real positive for us. Our offense takes what they give us, and we just want to move the chains. That's our mantra on offense is move the chains. We'll get in position to score eventually if we keep moving the chains. So our offensive line, we have a couple of guys back from last year, but we've had some young guys in the offensive line that have had to really learn quickly on the job, and they're doing a great job as well.
Awesome. Should be a great one tonight. Thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for coming out.
Should be a great one here under the lights in Lodi. Ryan Wing, NBC 15 Sports. Rob, back to you.
Thank you very much, Ryan. We'll have all of those highlights for you at 10 on the Blitz. The
undefeated Poinette, undefeated Lodi. Capital North Conference neon shirt action. Lodi's Garrett Schreiber. Rolling, Derek Paulson. Oh, the full extension. Gets the ball over the line inside the pylon for the touchdown. That was just the beginning. Same combination. This time, they do it long distance. 42 yards for the Blue Devil touchdown. How about some defense? Ryan Hutchinson's pass. Oh, we call this a pick 6 in the business. Alex Mashak. Lodi cruises 42-3, the final.
50 teams entered this night unbeaten. That was sure to change, though, this week, thanks to the schedule makers. Our Ryan Wing joins us for our Blitz big game, a showdown where someone will go home a loser for the first time this season.
Rob, 3 of the 10 teams in our area that are still unbeaten reside in the Capital North Conference. That number will dwindle tonight since rivals Lodi and Poynette try to keep pace with Columbus in the chase for the conference title. The Blue Devils have yet to allow a point this year. Would the Pumas be the first to change that? Second drive of the game for Lodi. Garrett Schreiber rolls right, hits his big tight end Derek Paulson for the 10-yard score. They added another in the first quarter, those two, to make it 14-zip. Poynette unable to find the end zone on their next drive, but they are able to put up points. Anthony Rittmeyer drills the 35-yard field goal. First points against Lodi this year. How would they respond? Very well, thank you. Mark Nellen up the middle. He bruises his way in from 11 yards out, makes it 21-3. Pumas facing a 3rd and 8 now on their own 22. Ryan Hutchinson under pressure. He is picked by Alex Mashik. He has reservations for 6. Mama, I'm coming home. A dominant performance by Lodi. They cruise 42-3.
In the Capital North, it now appears to be Lodi's world, and everyone else is just trying to not get run over by the Blue Devils. Lake Mills charged with that task tonight. Lodi with the ball, their own 46. QB Garrett Schreiber throws a short 10-yard pass to Mark Nellen. That turns into a 55-yard run for the score. Brings the Blue Devils lead to 21-0. That's nothing for those of you who don't know soccer. Less than a minute and a half to go in the second quarter. Ball in their own zone. Quarterback Colin Moen hits his man Ethan Allison in the end zone, putting the L-Cats on the board for the first time, makes it 21-7. Lodi wins it 41-7.
Capital Conference, undefeated style. The Lodi Blue Devils are 6-0. They've given up 3 points all season, total, altogether. Trying to make it a lucky 7 against Lake Mills. Get the blankets out, some hot cocoa, and enjoy some running game. Mark Nellen bunches in from 2 yards. That's what the Blue Devils do. The Lake Mills hanging around. Colin Moen, Hayden Iverson. This set up a short touchdown run, but Nellen again, dressed in pink, are the students cheering on the Blue Devils. Long range, 37 yards. Goodbye. Lodi keeps rolling to 7-0, 41-7, the final over Lake Mills. The final week of the high school football regular season, with plenty of local teams, still have plenty of playoff football ahead of them, including our 2 teams in the game of the week. Lodi and Columbus, both undefeated, but that would change. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves. Columbus' second play from scrimmage. Oops, a big hit on Peyton Henry. Ball's loose, and the big fella, Skylar Kurt. Let the big dogs eat. Scoop, score, and the Blue Devils are just getting started. Lodi on offense. Garrett Schreiber gonna fake the handoff. Keeps it himself. Running left. Running for a 6-pack of points. That made it 17-0 for the home team. Still in the first half. Mark Nellen takes the handoff, and he will go la distance. 77 yards through the people and through the defense. This was a beatdown. 37-7 the final. Jay Wilson has the postgame.
Lodi rolls to another Capital North title, and Skylar Kurt was the big man on defense. I know he didn't want to give up that last touchdown for the guys, but what makes this defense so great this year?
Well, every guy knows what they're doing. They just go out and give 110% every play. They never give up.
Let's talk about the touchdown. How cool was that, and how do you describe the play?
It was just, I can't even describe it. It was just a spur of the moment. I didn't know. I just picked the ball up and ran. I didn't even know. I was running on adrenaline. I just didn't know if I was even going to make it to the end zone.
Yeah, one fast guy tried to catch you, but he couldn't get you, right?
Yeah, I guess. I had good blocking by Zach Stuke, one of our linebackers. Great player.
Great team. Okay, it's time for the playoffs. Some unfinished business from last year. What do you look forward to in the playoffs?
Well, we're looking forward to getting past that level 4 mark and hoping to get to that state game.
Yeah, well, we hope to see you there.
Thank you.
All right, Lodi with an impressive win tonight over Columbus.
When the season began, most everyone expected Lodi to be in this position again. But maybe not many thought Columbus would own a perfect 8-0 record entering tonight's finale with the Blue Devils. Ryan Wing joins us now with highlights from our Blitz Big Game.
Hey, Rob, while other games tonight have playoff implications, this one has a few other storylines on its side. A pair of unbeatens, top-ranked Lodi in D4 and third-ranked Columbus, squaring off with the Capital North title on the line. The Blue Devils entered this one on a 16-game conference win streak. Second play from scrimmage. Cards QB Peyton Henry keeps it on the option. The Lodi D forces the fumble just before his knee hits the ground. The big fella, Skylar Kurt, there to scoop it. He rumbles 45 yards for the touchdown. How about that start to homecoming? 10-0 home team. Facing a 3rd and goal from the 6. Garrett Schreiber on the naked bootleg. That works perfectly. He scores with ease, puts them up by 17. Columbus looking to stem the tide. Facing a 4th and 10 from the 19. Henry has his receiver, but Max Barrow there to knock it down and force the turnover. Next Blue Devil drive. Give it to Mark Nellen. Good things tend to happen when you do that. The senior follows his blockers. He goes up the sideline, 77 yards for the touchdown and the 24-0 lead. Lodi finishes the regular season unbeaten. They take the Capital North 37-7.
In football, the value of special teams often gets lost between offense and defense. But for the undefeated Lodi Blue Devils football team, a special teams play is one of their biggest of the season. And it came from the smallest player on the roster. Eric Ryla has our story from Lodi.
It's fun to even come to practice. Everything's fun.
The undefeated Lodi Blue Devils are having a blast.
The unselfishness of this group of guys playing wherever they need to play and doing whatever they need to do, it's just really special.
A special team, in part, because of its special teams. I mean, how many backup kickers get this kind of applause for kicking an extra point?
A lot of people view football as a guy sport. I've heard a couple teams, like, when I'm walking on the field, oh, they got a girl.
That backup kicker is Savannah Curtis. The sophomore has always played with the boys, working towards her real goal.
Prove that girls can do it too.
By kicking field goals.
Should I move back a little more?
And earning respect along the way.
Her focus, accuracy, all those things are just spot on for being an excellent kicker.
Which is why Curtis got the chance to kick for the state's top-ranked team.
I don't know about the fans if they knew it was possible, but it wasn't a big deal, I guess, for the team knowing that she could do it.
Because the team knows that Curtis will do so much more in the years to come.
There's no doubt in my mind she can be our kicker for the next 2 years.
In Lodi, Eric Ryla, News 3 Sports.
Division 4 time. Unbeaten Lodi trying to stay that way, coming off a big win over Columbus to end the regular season. The Blue Devils got to host Platteville tonight. Oh, warm up, get a little hot cocoa. Watch Lodi go to work. Mark Nellen, ground game. 24-0 Lodi. The Hillman is trying to hang around. Not doing too shabby. Cody Shambo. The Donovan Blevins. Through the coverage. Donovan takes it the distance, but this was all Lodi tonight. Blue Devils, Max Baru. Breaking a tackle. And he's going go. 65 yards, end zone bound, and Lodi wins 45-13 to advance to level 2. In Division 4, the Lodi Blue Devils look to continue their unbeaten run to the next round, and they've been handling business all year long, especially on defense. They got to host their level 2 game against Bigfoot, but it was the Blue Devils who were a-stomping. Garrett Schreiber hands off to Mark Nellen. Nellen shedding tackles and scoring from 32 yards out. Schreiber, back to pass. Derek Paulson behind everybody, in for the score. And Bigfoot trying to stay in this one, forcing turnovers, but it wasn't meant to be. Lodi hasn't lost a game all year, and they showed why. Back on offense, Schreiber, Nellen. I'm having deja vu. He runs it in again. Lodi wins, final score, 49-7. Columbus sneaks past River Valley, 17-14 in Division 4. The Cardinals advancing to level 3.
And Columbus have a rematch of their Capital North Conference Championship game of the last week of the regular season. Defensive struggle. First quarter, Lodi quarterback Garrett Schreiber throws a pick 6 to Columbus's Noah Coughlin. He goes 27 yards for the touchdown. And third quarter, high snap on a 4th down play. Oh, that's going to set up Lodi on Columbus's 12-yard line. Garrett Wagner is one of the best kickers in the state. He got 5 field goals on the night, this one from 34 yards. He gets the game winner as time runs out. Final score, Lodi 15, Columbus 14. In Division 5, Shoreland Lutheran ends Marshall's season. The final was 35-21.
And the other side of the bracket, top-seeded Spencer Columbus Catholic defeats Stratford 30 to.
Speaking of familiar faces in familiar places, Division IV features a rematch that the first time around was a one-sided affair. Would it be a different tune this time around? Our Ryan Wing joins us with the answer and the highlights in our big game.
Rob, when these two met up in the final week of the regular season with the Capital North title at stake, Lodi wasted little time jumping out to the early lead, scoring on the game's second play en route to the 37-7 victory. The Cardinals looking to advance to level 4 for the first time since their state title back in 1996. Second drive of the game for Lodi. Garrett Schreiber rolls out, but his pass picked off by Noah Coughlin. He jumps the route for Columbus, goes 28 yards for the lead. Lodi, though, up 9-7 in the third quarter. First play after a Blue Devils fumble, the Cards get tricky. The reverse to Coughlin, the stiff arm here. Very wet, muddy field. He's able to cut it back upfield, go 35 yards. They retake the lead 14-9. Home team facing a 4th and 8 with under 5 to play. Schreiber able to connect with his tight end, Derek Paulson. That's the first time all game, and it barely moves the chains. They bled the clock down, and then Garrett Wagner. As time expires, the 24-yard field goal is good. He was the entire offense for Lodi. They survive in a thriller, 15-14.
I had faith in the line. I knew they'd get it down. All I had to do was put it through. Oh, my God, that's amazing. Oh, I'm speechless right now.
All three local teams that reach level 4 of the WIAA football playoffs have recent experience on this stage. For Lodi, the trip to West Bend ended in heartbreak. Tonight, a chance to write a happier ending to this Division IV tale. Lodi taking Omro in the semifinals over in West Bend. Blue Devils come up large in the first quarter. Omro fumbles on the pitch, and Zach Stuk is Johnny on the spot to recover. He's off to the races, takes it the other way just before being dragged down shy of the goal line. Lodi would take advantage of that turnover. Garrett Schreiber hits Derek Paulson for the short touchdown. That's all they need in this one. They shut out Omro 23-0, and Lodi makes the first trip to state title game where they'll face Osceola.
Lodi and Omro play in Division IV. A big turnover early. Omro driving, but there's a fumble. Lodi's Zach Stuk picks it up, and watch the big fella go. Think he's got enough gas in the tank to get there? Not quite, but Lodi's set up on the 8-yard line. Doesn't take long to convert. Garrett Schreiber eventually hits Derek Paulson for the touchdown, and look out, Camp Randall. Here come the Lodi Blue Devils. 23-0 Lodi. The Blue Devils 13-0 in the season. They'll play Osceola in the Division IV final next Thursday. Tomorrow in Division III, Reedsburg and Catholic Memorial play at Middleton at 1.
Okay, parents and fans of the Lodi Blue Devils, take a look. They are loaded on the buses. Just a short while ago, they're heading to Camp Randall for the high school state football championship. Very excited up in Lodi. The tickets for fan transportation were sold out for Lodi fans. As their team makes school history, it's their first run to state.
Lodi will be taking on Osceola in less than an hour.
But NBC 15's Lindsey Branwall shows us how one player is taking the main stage at not one, but 2 events this weekend.
Just kind of take it as another game.
Even though it's 111 years in the making.
We just wanted to keep this week normal.
Teachers at Lodi High School are treating today like any other. But it's not.
Normalcy, I think, has been one of the themes of this week.
The undefeated Lodi football team is making their first state championship appearance. They know how important it is to keep their head in the game.
But I've been able to juggle it really well, and it hasn't been that big of a struggle.
And Matthew Sager is juggling 3 important performances this week.
Everything is 7 p.m. for the next 3 days.
On the gridiron for the state championship tonight, and the lead in the school musical Shrek tomorrow and Saturday.
We were not going to look ahead to anything other than the game in front of us.
But the all-academic, all-state player is just listening to the advice of his coach.
We never talked about the state championship game. We never talked about Camp Randall. Those words were never uttered the entire season. We just said we have a goal.
Just to concentrate on right now.
Maybe there's a few more people in the stands, but it's still 48 minutes of football.
And they believed in each other, and they believed in the coaching staff, and they found ways to overcome a lot of adversity.
In Lodi, Lindsey Branwall.
And now here they are. They got a chance.
NBC 15 News.
Is NBC 15 Sports.
Darlington had been here before. Lodi hadn't, but the Blue Devils, a semifinalist last season, had been a dominant force on defense all season long. so both teams seemed to have great shots at finally hoisting the gold ball. In the end, neither would. The Lodi faithful just trying to stay warm. They had little to cheer about tonight at the camp. First quarter, the Blue Devils get a chance to get on the board first. On a blustery night, though, the best kicker in the state, Garrett Wagner's kick 45 yards out, just misses. Lodi would dominate on time of possession in the first half and put up more than 70 yards of offense, more than Osceola, but the offense couldn't find a way to turn that into points. Big break comes via the special teams in the second. Osceola's Eric Ellingsworth fields the punt, gets outside, down the sideline he goes for 77 yards on the return, takes it to the Lodi 12, and that, as they say, leads to this. QB Tucker Hazard with the 1-yard sneak. Lodi shut out 28-0, ending a great run for the program.
It sets the bar high for future teams to come, and so we need to find a way to get better. But we can't take anything away from our kids. They played their butts off the whole year. And Osceola's got a very, very, very good football team, and they showed that tonight. Very proud of our kids, proud to be here. Not real proud of our effort and our execution tonight, but that's high school football.